Now we're recording. Good evening, everyone. This is the second Red Zone Zoom meeting, and we are here to help you be ready for Red Zone. This is what we want to share with you as we look at the different topics for tonight. You'll see on the screen that this is the theme or the second meeting. There was the link. You already have that because you're here in the meeting, so we're glad that you came to the meeting. The YouTube channel will post this there again afterwards if you need that. And that's something that we've gotten used to. But this is the big one tonight. The reason for this deadline is that tomorrow, or this Zoom meeting, is that tomorrow we have a very important deadline, and that is for you to be able to get your background check. So some of you have adults, parents that haven't done their background check. And we set this date, April 27, to say, if you've done it by tomorrow, then we'll work with you, right? If you wait until May 4 to do the background check, then you're going to miss the regular registration rate. And that's not something we want you to do, but we can't keep that door open forever. So if you want your parents to get the best rate possible, we are asking you to make sure that they go in, do their background, Sterling Volunteer, submit that. It's not just the online training, it's also submitting that information. And that's tomorrow, April 27. So we think that's a big deal. We wanted just to remind everybody that's on tonight that has to happen if we're going to get you approved in time for May 4. So if you check with us again later and it's too late and you miss May 4, you'll have to get pushed to the other registration because that's the deadline. So as long as everybody hits that, then we're good. And then also keep in mind, we're getting close, right? Like regular registration will close May 4. And that's something that is just, it's coming fast. And we want you to be aware and to know that that's coming. That is a Monday and it's 1 o'clock. So please keep that in mind. And then we'll go to a late online registration, which will be a Thursday. So if you miss the May 4, you still can get the next best rate. And that next best rate is on May 14 on Thursday, right? And that'll be open from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And that's where the rate goes up to $27 a person. So you'll see that it makes a pretty good jump. So we want you to not have to get involved in that and not have to hit that penalty. So please keep that in mind. We did sell out of Camp Kalakwa housing. So we had a backup date as a second one, but we sold out on the first date of March 26, even though we changed it a little bit. And we made it so every club could only get one kind of housing, and we sold out. So what that tells us is that a lot more clubs have access to Red Zone than we'll have had in the previous time. So we're glad for that.
Need to mute.
And if you would please mute your screen if you are on here so we don't get any feedback sound, that would be great. Thank you. This one we've changed a little bit, and I should have changed that in the document, but this we're going to change to April 30. And this is Thursday. And the reason is because we just released recently that the shirt was, you could actually see it, right? You could actually look at it and know what you were ordering. So April 30, that's this Thursday at 1 o'clock. And then also the pins will be done on that date. So if you're looking to order those things, please make sure that you get onto that and get those things ready to go. Pins and shirts this Thursday at 1 p.m. So don't miss that time. We don't want you like, hey, what happened? And remember, shirts and pins will be available as long as supply lasts, and it'll be a limited supply on site. So we just want to make sure that everybody knows that. All right, for food vendors, if you have thought about being a food vendor, want to be a food vendor for Red Zone, we're going to close that on April 30. And we are sold out of golf carts at this point. We had a max of 7 available. So all those have been taken. So that is done. And then meals will open on May 1. So that's Friday. And how do you get meals? Anybody know that answer? If you're looking for meals, how do you get meals for Red Zone from the Camp Kalakwa cafeteria? You go to your Camp Kalakwa account, right? So the instructions for that are on the website. So please go there to get those instructions, and you'll see all that you need to make sure that if you want Camp Kalakwa meals, that's optional. No one has to get meals. Most clubs will provide their own meals, but that's coming up. And then we just hit this deadline again, May 4. That's the last date to get the best rate at this point, the best current rate, which is $19 per person. And then On Monday, Pathfinder Skill Events is going to open. So this is where you get to sign up with your club and get that going. So we'll have that open in the office. We'll open that in YMMS tomorrow. And then look at this, swaps. You can swap people. So you can, if you registered a child and they've changed their mind, or registered an adult and they've changed their mind, at this point, because the child and the adult are the same rate, those tickets can be swapped. So we just want you to make sure that you know that you still have time to swap after registration. And that those are the dates there. And then go-karts. We've opened go-karts and some people are getting it. It's fun to see. Some clubs are buying for their adults and for their kids. So we're excited to see that they're looking at that. That's the first time we're offering go-karts as part of Sunday morning here at Red Zone. So that will be there, and we'll open that as tickets get sold in increments to make sure as many people as possible can get a chance to race on the go-karts. Whoops. And then for the water park will close coming up May 11, and that's $18 per person if you purchase in advance, and it'll be $20 on site. And Camp Colaqua does have a minimum for us. So we encourage you, if you're going to get those tickets, to get them as soon as possible so we can lock that in with Camp Colaqua and make that all work. All right. Next is May 12. On May 12 will be the honors sign up will open. And so Eartha and a team are working hard to get all those honors, the times, the number of times that they're being offered, how many people can be in there, where the honor will be taught. All those details are being put together, and that will open coming up on May 12th. So I had a club last year say, I never even knew that honors were opening up. This list has been online for over a month, and we're just trying to highlight this to make sure that everybody knows that honor sign up will open on May 12th. Now, if housing went fast, honors also go fast. So don't delay on that one. We don't want you to not get a chance to do honors, but if you want to get in on honors, you have to be ready to go on Tuesday, May 12th.
May I put a
And
plug?
that will stay open until the 18th unless it sells out sooner.
May
All
I put a
right.
plug here? May I put a
So
plug?
then we've got May 14, just another reminder for late on-site registration. And then that's only adults who have finished their Sterling and did that by April 27. So make sure that's an important part of it. And then we're asking you to wait until May 19, Tuesday, to print tickets. So don't do it before, because if you swap or change or do something else, we don't want you to miss those tickets or have the wrong person in the ticket. So that's another thing we want you to check on. And then vehicles, we'll start talking a little bit about vehicles. Vehicles, we will limit the number of vehicles entering camp. And we want to give you more details here in a minute on that. But vehicles entering camp will be limited to one vehicle per campsite, right? One vehicle per campsite. And that's the vehicle that's going to actually park and stay inside the campsite. So if you're new to Red Zone, or maybe as a good reminder, even if you've been coming to Red Zone, we are allowing a vehicle in that's the vehicle that will be camp parked at your campsite. And we ask that that vehicle go all the way into your campsite and park inside your stringed area, right? We'll have a crew goes up on Thursday and marks off all the campsites. Your club will have a site. Please park that one vehicle for the campsite inside the marked area. And that's important because then it keeps the roads clear. And if there's an emergency or if clubs need to get by to get to their campsite, if you were getting there and you were trying to get to your campsite and you couldn't because another car was blocking the road, that wouldn't be something you would enjoy. So let's keep that in mind as we work together. Everybody who comes in parks that one vehicle that's going to stay parked in the campsite, parks it inside the campsite and starts setting up, and then accommodates that vehicle to where it's going to stay for the weekend. Or if you do that right away, that's fine too. So keep that in mind for that vehicle. There is a limit. Not all vehicles will be allowed to enter camp. Something that is going to be a little bit new. We asked at the beginning if anybody wanted anything new. We've got a couple things that are new. This is one of them. On the screen, you'll see in green that May 22, that's Friday, that's the day that people arrive for Red Zone at Camp Colaqua, starting at 9 a.m. until 8 p.m. So that's until sundown almost. Sundown's later than 8 p.m. But from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., there will be a on-site registration, which could be a little misunderstood because it's not, you're not going to be on site at 9 o'clock. We don't open until 2 o'clock. But this is where we're saying if you haven't registered someone, we want to give you the opportunity from early in the morning to go ahead and take care of that and then get their ticket and send them their ticket so that when they get to check in at Red Zone, they'll be ready to go. So in the past, we've had you wait until you get there and then you have to go to a help area and do your registration. We're saying the price is going to be the same at 9 a.m. all the way to 8 p.m. And that's how you can do it. So that means the director or the secretary has to go into YMMS. They have to log in, they have to make the payment, they have to purchase the ticket at that price, and then download that ticket, send it to somebody, or print it and send it to somebody. So that's something that we're asking happen ideally before you get there. So please remember again that background check has to be completed for adults to be able to register. So this is going to happen only in YMMS. That means that the YMMS ticket is going to be for everybody, right? Whether you just signed up in the past, we've done some of that online, on site rather, and we don't want to do that. We want our team to be focused on checking people in who actually have their YMMS ticket. So please do everything you can. If you come and you don't have a ticket, we'll send you to a parking area, and that's where you'll go connect with your director or your secretary who has access to YMMS, and they'll have to sign in, buy your ticket, send it to you, and that will be the only way that you can come in. So please make sure that you're aware of that. That is something that's a little bit different. All right. Another thing, photo IDs, that's pretty common. We've had that. And then this is drill and drum registrations. Please make sure that you're watching for that. There is a difference online. We've tried to clarify that at the website, but there's a Friday and a Monday. And we want to make sure that if you are participating in drill or drum, that you're hitting those deadlines. And two things need to happen. One, you have to be registered for the event to be able to register for drill or drums. You have to register for Red Zone before you can register for drill or drum. That's one step, YMMS. The second step is for all clubs who are participating in drill and drum. The second step is that you have to go in and email to the drill director or the drum director your routine or your list, and that has to be done also by a deadline, May 1, May 4, Friday, and Monday. So please make sure you're watching for those things. The website will give you more details, but if you're doing drill and drum, that's very important that you get those things sorted out. There is also basketball, a 3-on-3 basketball tournament and a soccer tournament. Both of those will happen Saturday night, and those signups will be under activities on the website, and you can go through that and get that information there. So that's the overview of our agenda for tonight in terms of just reminding you of deadlines and keeping all these things before you so that you don't miss important things. And I'm going to pause for a moment to see if there are any questions, and then I'll go on after the questions, but we'll stop for a moment. Are there any questions about what we've shared so far?
Hi, Pastor. Good evening.
Hi.
Um, I'm inquiring about the honors. I saw
Yes.
your responses to a couple of folks asking in the chat about the availability of a pre-list, a list in advance of the opening of the
Gotcha.
honors. The honor sign up system that we have right now is not, I mean, I've gone to several events that a couple of events where we have the honors sign up and then people are signing up for honors and they're not showing up for honors, or then we come back and give additional guidance on how we can register for honors. And I think that one of the last meetings I asked about, you know, coming up to having a conversation about honor sign up and information dissemination regarding the honors. Have you guys, is there any improvements that we can anticipate in this process? Because if they will go fast, and if the list opens on May 12th, then I don't know what, it would be preferable if you can have at least 24 hours to go back to your club and say, these are the honors. What do you guys want to do? As opposed to counselors saying, hey, I'm signing you up for these honors and here and there. And then
Yeah.
it just becomes, it becomes a real confusion trying to sign up for the different honors that'll be offered, and
Yes.
so that's where
Thank you.
my thing.
Thank you for sharing that. So I'm on the website. I shared the screen. There will be an honors and activities list that we'll post, and then we'll give the details for when that opens. So one of the questions was, will you have the list in advance? And this, I'm saying yes, you will. So this is where you'll see it. It will be here under honors. And if you're wondering where I am on the website, it's under the resources section. So honors is under there, and we will get posted for you the honors and activities that will be available with time, so you kind of can plan that way. And then we will also get you the details on how to do that. So knowing in advance so you can do it, yes, we will. The challenge of letting clubs sign up for honors and then clubs not showing up for honors, that's one that we haven't solved. We don't know how to solve clubs not doing what they say they're going to do. So if someone has a suggestion, we're open to that. But when it comes to honors, that's part of the challenge, is that if we have a ticket system, then the ticket system is something that is the clubs get tickets, but they get them on site, and we've done that. So one of the things that we've talked about in the past is, if you know that you have Pathfinders that want to be at a specific honor, one of the things we've talked about is show up at the honor. If there are no shows, right, after 10 minutes or whatever time we decide, then those kids that showed up as kind of standby, they would be allowed in. And even if you had a ticket, if you're 10 minutes plus late, then you would forfeit your ticket. What do you guys think about that? How do you feel? The other way too, right? You get stuck eating longer than you did, you're rushing, you get there, you're 11 minutes late, and somebody already let the kids in that you had tickets for, but you didn't show up on time. Talk to me. Let's think about that a little bit. What sounds like it would be helpful?
When we had the South area camporee,
Yeah.
we were having they after there was confusion about the availability of honors, then they came out with additional guidelines on how many honors a club should sign up for, or allowed to sign up for. Then they went to opening honors on site that morning to register for the honors. Um, is there something that in place? Is there, I wasn't around when we switched to doing it on YMMS, as opposed to offering the honors and having same day show appearances for them, or maybe like a line of sort where you know it's all more on the first come first serve, or some way that it provides us a more equitable access and assurances for you guys as well as to what to expect for the honors.
Yeah. So we do think that the ticket system, if it's open to everyone, is first come first serve. Like it's a better system than you have 10 kids waiting in line. There was an honor at another place that had 10 spots, but because I'm waiting in line for this one and I never get it, then I never even get to the other one, because once they're after the 10 minutes, like we don't want kids coming in and trying to get those. So we'll work on that with our honor group, and we'll look. We do have a final update, a final Zoom meeting that will go over that. So for now, we're going to stick with the plan. The final Zoom meeting, I'm just going to scroll down and make sure that everybody sees that. We'll have a final Zoom meeting on May 11, and we'll give final instructions. Sounds like Eartha has something for us.
Yes. So I hear you. A couple of things. Yes, we will have the list available beforehand, but I dropped in there earlier. So we also are in need of additional honors. We were to lock it last week, but we've extended it to the 30th this Thursday. And so we are still looking for clubs to help us out with honors and activities. I think on this line, I've spoken to several individuals, some individuals that are on here even today, to confirm things that I've been working with them on. So if there's a club here that can help us some more, I think I heard someone said, how many honors can a person take or Pathfinder take? This idea would be for each person to get at least one honor or activity. It's something to do. reality is sometimes clubs don't raise their hand to help us. We can only make this successful if you help us to do that, help to teach an honor, or not you per se, someone in your club, a parent, a staff, whomever, someone else to teach that honor or help us with an activity to ensure that we have enough to go around for everyone. We want to be transparent. There's activities and everybody may not get an honor. The more individuals that reach out, my email is there. If you can help us, please do so. To make it accessible for everyone to participate and be able to enjoy.
Pastor Pedro,
Yes.
it's Randa.
Hi, Randa.
Regarding the honors, it sometimes is not that we don't show up, it's sometimes it's miscommunication because last year we went to one place and we're told the location changed. Or when
Yes,
we got there,
I
no
remember
one was
that.
there to teach. So it's
Yeah,
it's both. It's like, yes, the honors are available. Yes, we tried to reach on time, but then the location changed, and then we went to the other location. The
yeah,
children become disinterested because, okay,
yeah,
they say, Miss Randa, we're going here now. You're taking us here, and it's back and forth. So
yeah.
if
That's
the
great.
communication can be clear enough where exactly the honor is, if it's canceled, we understand because people get busy, but if it's canceled or something, maybe a note can go up and say, hey, it's canceled. Sorry about that, whatever. But it's just communication as well.
Thank you for that. And you're absolutely right. That did happen. And we try to avoid that because with a big event like this, changing stuff last minute always creates confusion.
Correct.
So there are lots of questions in the chat. When will we know the honors? You'll know, I think the 12th is when it opens, right, Eartha?
It does. It must. So this is the last Wednesday is the last day. Wednesday, Thursday.
So we'll have a list for you. We need to have a list for you no later than that 7th.
Yes,
The 7th of May, that Thursday. So you have time in the weekend to talk to people and plan and do that. We'll do that. We'll get that list and we won't have locations and all those details, but we will have a list so you can at least look and see what's being offered so you can talk to your kids over the Sabbath. Yep, that's a good comment. Thank you for that. Okay. Also in the chat, I saw some stuff about soccer, and yes, that's true. We had soccer planned, and then it didn't work. Basketball was in the gym. We are planning soccer again, and yes, we have made some adjustments so that that does happen. So that is on the works. Thank you for that comment. And then I see a hand from Gary.
Yes, Pastor Pedro, I was wondering about the honors. Could we just have first come, first serve for the honors
We could.
instead of signing up? We go first come, first serve.
Tell me what you think is the win in that.
Then the kids that want to do the honor at that point, they can go to the honor and they can do that particular honor. The clubs would have a better chance of getting in because a lot of time people are signed up and we get there and they're not there, and then we're standing there waiting, and if we're not signed up for that particular honor. But the win would be that the teacher would have a full class every time.
Okay. Okay. So let me take that back and we'll debrief that as our leadership team to see what we can come up with. We definitely want to improve it. And we do want you to know that we're listening to you. There are a couple other things in my mind in terms of why we're doing what we're doing. So let me process that with the team, but thank you for the input. Let me just get a feel. If you're on tonight and you want to put in the chat or you want to give a thumbs up or whatever, how many of you would say, yes, that would be preferred? We would prefer to have just show up, first come, first serve, no tickets, no pre-purchase, no sign up for tickets. It's just a free for all on that Sabbath. Go where you go, get there, and you get in. If you get there and it's too late, move on and try to find something else. Let's just get a feel for how many. Some thumbs. Okay.
Pastor, can I make a comment?
Yeah.
So while I agree, I can see some logic to that. I do think that that can cause um, a lot of people to go to a specific honor, and then basically it gets full, and then you're out of options because then your secondary or third option to do an honor is somewhere else that's far.
Yeah.
Basically, you could end up with no honor. So
Yeah.
that kind of has that downside.
Yeah, the chat also sees some of the no's. That's why I'm saying we'll weigh it. We'll look at it, and we might even try a hybrid, right? Like we might say these 10 honors are going to be sign up, and then these 5 are going to be first come first serve on site. So let us process that a little bit more. And thank you for the input. That's good. That's valuable.
Pastor Pedro, this is Calvin here.
Yes.
The people who are teaching the honor, they would like to know how many people they are preparing for. And if they're just gonna go for first come, first serve, they may run out of material because the amount of people might show up, they don't have as much material. But if you know
Yeah.
the people, then you come prepare.
So that would be true, Calvin, if it was first come, first serve, and everybody that gets there gets in. But that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying if we did first come, first serve, it would be a 50 show up, the instructor has to teach 50 people. We would say this class has space for 20 people. The first 20 people come in for that session. The other 20, it will be taught again later, or you'll have to go find something else. So I want to be clear, that's how we would run that. It wouldn't be first come, first serve, and all that show up will be served. That's not what I'm saying. So thank you for that clarification.
Right.
All right, let's look at a
So,
question. I
Pastor,
see Eunice.
would this mean? So, what I was saying was that at the South Area Camper Reed, they had
Yeah.
like a time in the morning
Yeah.
where they placed the honors out for sign up sheets for the honors on the morning of for us to sign up. Is that not a possibility so that you can not so that folks won't lose out on their second choice or third choice if they sign the number of slots available for the honor in the
Yeah.
morning, then they
So
know that they're scheduled at 2 o'clock to go to the whatever honor that they registered for.
yeah,
And it would kind of work on the first come, first serve basis. However, you have that in the morning, you have that sign up thing where you're not forming a long line and then having to take 10 or 15 minutes into the time that you should be teaching the honor, trying
yeah.
to assemble a class.
So two things on that. If you've been coming to Red Zone for a while, we used to do signups and we used to do come get tickets on the porch of the chat of the ABC, and that became quite a process. And then you've got people waiting in line, and then it's one person, but they take 30 tickets, and then you were waiting in line and you thought you were going to get tickets, and all of a sudden you waited in line 2 hours Sabbath morning. So we had some challenges with that. The other thing is, let me just say this on honors. We've decided that the system will be a sign-up system for YMMS. That's what we've decided. We're asking for input to see how can we make improvements on that. And we're saying with sign-ups, the challenge is always there because just because you sign up doesn't mean you show up. And that's really what we should be focusing on. If a club signs up but doesn't show up, how do we then shuffle those spaces out for new participants? Because we like to have order and organization and put things in place to say, I know I have 10 tickets for stars, and I know my Pathfinders can count on these 10 tickets equal 10 spaces for this time, for this class at this location to learn this skill. So that's what we like to do. We think that's disarming. The other thing is volume. So at South Florida, there's a good group of people there, but it's not the same volume as Red Zone. And when you have a different volume, a system that works with this many doesn't always work with double or sometimes more than that volume. So those are the things we weigh also and we consider. Again, thank you for the input and thank you for working with us. We are doing our best to try to figure out what's going to work best, and we've already made up our mind that we do have a sign-up system. We do have to do it. So if I could say anything to the clubs tonight, it would be this. If you sign up, show up. And then we don't have a problem, right? Yep. If you sign up, show up. And we've got to do better. I appreciate that comment, Rhonda. We've got to do better. Hey, we can't tell you to go to this place, and then now we changed it and we didn't inform you. So we're going to work on that for this year, and we've got some things that we'll do. But please watch for more. We're going to post what's available so you can see it, and then we're going to talk more about this on May 12 in terms of what we have. And please know this also. There are 104 people on tonight. Try to ask 104 people what they want for dinner and then go cook dinner.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to make a suggestion before we move on from the sign up and the honors.
Okay.
Has it been considered to do electronic sign up instead, like a QR code? You drop the honors the night before, people sign up and gain a QR code like a ticket, and they show up at the time at the doors with their QR code. Within about 5 minutes of checking everyone in, whoever is not in, electronically, you can see a attendance sheet and see how many spots you have left. So those who are waiting at the door for no-shows can then proceed to go in. And you can also use that system if there is a room change. You can update within that system and say, hey, for this honor, it's no longer this room, it's the other room or the other building.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Yep, we'll look into that and
Pastor-
see. And just know that we're less than 30 days away. So please don't take it as I gave all these suggestions and they didn't do it. We'll work on some stuff, but we're also, I don't want to manage expectations, and I don't want you to think that we're going to do this and this and this. So we'll look at that and we'll see what's possible and realistic for our team to pull off. And if some of you have expertise or different stuff in that and wanted to meet with us offline, we'd be happy to look at that also. All right.
Pastor, one final note I would like to mention. This is Tim.
Yeah. Hi.
I've been working with Eartha on this, and just for those that are online, for the honor that we'll be teaching, there is a requirement. There are prerequisites, and there's going to be one information sent out to those interested in the honor that they will need to comply with before they get on the way to Kulaqua. So in the consideration of all this discussion, this particular honor will have that prereq that we will send out to the clubs that are registering for, so that they can get started on it before, so that we can complete the honor once we are at Kulaqua.
Sure. Yeah, thank you for that. And yeah, so that would be true for that one honor, right?
Correct.
And so for that one honor, we absolutely will stick with the system we have. And if we can improve for some other things, we'll do that as well. Thank you for the perspective. All right, I do see a hand. I want to go to the hand. Michael?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. One question I have is there a list available of the honors that are being offered?
Not yet, but we said that list would be up by May 7, and then it opens on May 12. So you'll have 5 days as a club to process that.
But they have made a list in the past, I understand.
Correct.
Okay. Well, I'm from the Washington Conference, and when I was area coordinator up there, we had our fairs or red zone, whatever. We did not offer any honors. We completed that nightmare completely. And we just had events for the Pathfinders, and that was it. And it made it a whole lot smoother. And I know you're going, oh, no honors? I understand where you're going with that. But on the other hand, you look on the flip side, and it's a nightmare from what I've been hearing. So what I'm suggesting is maybe have one or two at the most. Better yet, not have any at all and just have events during that time.
Okay. Thank you for the input. And again, like some of this, the train already left the station, right? So this is a discussion we'll have for future, but I don't want you to think, hey, they didn't listen to my suggestion or they don't care what I say. Like we're less than 30 days away from the event. So what tonight was to say, hey, we know you need to see the list. We're going to provide the list. We know that you're signing up and we hear the issue. If it says it's going to be in this location, then I should be able to expect or be informed that it's going to move. So those are the kinds of things we can tweak and change for this event. Moving forward, some of these things will be considered more heavily in terms of how can we continue to fine tune it. All right?
Okay, sure.
I just want to make sure that we're all kind of on the same page. Thank you
Sure.
for the input. And I'll read through
You're welcome.
all the chat comments later and make sure, Jackie, you're still looking at all that. Yes? And answering. Okay.
Yes, we're monitoring.
Yeah. And yeah, some chat people are saying, yeah, we really like honors. And yeah, it's kind of the culture that we have created, and that's where we are. It's not to say that it's the right culture or the only culture, but it is the culture that we've created for Red Zone.
Sure.
I will share this, that as we meet with Southern Union and talk about Southern Union Camp-Ree, most of what the discussion is leaning towards is a free-for-all. First come, first serve, no
Oh.
sign-ups, no tickets, no pre-advanced things. It's just you get there, you wait in line. If you make it in, you make it in. If not, you move on and find something else. So that's a different system and a different model. So we'll see. All right, let me bring us back. Anything about the agenda we went through tonight? Any other questions? I know honors got us excited, so that's good. Thank you again for the input. Any
Pastor-
other discussion from the agenda we shared? And then I want to share a new thing with you.
Yes, Pastor Pedro. This
Yeah.
is Marlene from All Nations.
All
I
right.
wanted to double check. I know the t-shirts are $11.
Yes,
Generally, sometimes when it's past extra large, the cost is different. Is there a difference?
there is. And
Okay.
because our vendor has a different fee, we pass that fee on because that's not something we can absorb. I'll go back up to the website and I'll share. We did just post something on the website. Sorry for all the screen moving fast there. I'm going to scroll back down to merch. So this is how to order the shirts. So this is what's up, and I think you'll be surprised. Yeah, the price is $10. So that it's a little bit better than what you had. And that is the official shirt for Red Zone. It's got the logo. It's fueled by his love. And on the back, it says Red Zone. And on here also, it says that plus sizes go up $2 for every X. So that's where you see that part. On-site shirts will go up to $11. But if you pre-order them, they'll be $10. And all those shirts will be delivered on site. And again, the closing date is April 30. Okay?
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And let me just do this as a review also. If we can go back to that for a second, there is a difference on the pin, and I want you to see that. The pin for Red Zone will not be ordered through YMMS, and that's a new thing. So if there's any confusion on that, I just want to clear that up. The reason is we've partnered with a company who said that they will take over all of that for us and be able to offer the pins directly to clubs and
cool.
deliver them on site. So this is the official pin. We think it's a beautiful pin.
Yeah.
It will be done through Pin Finder. So you find this website at YMMS, but it's
Yes.
Pin Finder. There's the pin, and if you order by April 30, you'll get them for $5. If you order more than 10, it will go down to $4.50. If you wait until after that deadline and want to get it on site, it will go up to $6. But those pins will be picked up by the club at Red Zone in a tent outside of the gym room where we'll have our store, and they'll be picked up at the vendor booth named Pin Finder. Pin Finder. So that's something we want you to do. And there's the hours of the booth. Again, this document and the t-shirt document all lives on the website. We just wanted you to see that. All right. I see two hands, Marlene and Gustavo, and then I'm going to jump into one more thing, and then we'll take questions again.
Good
Yes,
night, Pastor.
Pedro. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Good night, Pastor Pedro. I have a quick question. I don't know if I missed it.
Yes.
And this has to do with you spoke about one vehicle staying on site. That's not the issue. But I normally come in a big bus to Red Zone, and when I arrive at the gate, I always have, to put it bluntly, a really rough time getting processed in order to get to my campsite.
Okay.
Let me unpack that. Sometimes you get there, you do not know who is checking the bus off. Sometimes you got to find somebody. I remember when I came there, maybe not the last year, the person came on the bus, whatever they had was not working. When we came to the first gate, we were allowed to pass the first gate, not being checked. When we get to the second gate, there was Pastor Rose, I think it was. And then we had to be pulling over right and left. We had a truck, and it can be pretty time consuming and frustrating, to say the least. So I was wondering if the system is a little bit better this year, that clubs that are arriving with buses and a larger pathfinder, so to speak, if there is anything in place for these buses that I know the directors, I know I come prepared. I would have maybe a folder with all my pathfinders' name in it, leaders, pictures. I would have it laid out. So whoever's come to check the bus should be ready. One year we came and then they said, go to find the wristband. So we're driving around looking for the wristband, got to the campsite late. And then when we got there, we were being rushed to unpack to get off.
Wow.
One. So secondly, my next question has to do with the ground. Last year when we came, like I told you, the ground was not very friendly to us. I was wondering if there is advanced preparation done to the ground where we're going to be pitching our tent so we not get bitten by ants. And we have less of the horse manure and everything in the campsite so that it can be a very pleasing experience for those people who are camping. I know we are
Yeah.
camping, but at least we need to have something that is habitable. That is my concern.
Yeah, so thank you for your two concerns, Sister Hunt. I'll go to the first one. Sorry that happened to you on the bus. That's obviously not what we want you to experience. We do have a team of people that we've been working with, and they are going to be doing just buses. It'll be a team of 2 ladies, and if needed, they'll have backup to call a third person over to help make that bus experience better. So yes, there are some things that we're working on. They'll have the wristbands they need. They'll have all the supplies they need. And hopefully you get a better experience. If not, please come see me. But I know that that's what we try to do. And if you wanted to, text me when you're, and I'll come see you personally and help you go through your check-in on the bus and give you A1 service so you'll be so happy you came to Red Zone. In addition to that, I would say it's probably easier for our check-in team if every person has their own ticket. So as they go through the bus, they're matching names and people, and all adults have their IDs ready on the bus. And that can happen as you come down the road. So we would like to ask for buses to make sure. I love that you have a folder and everything ready. I would just ask as you approach, please make sure those tickets are handed out and every
Yes.
ticket is with every person.
Yes.
And every adult has their ID ready so our team can get on the bus, check you in, and get off the bus and help you guys to just move on and get settled in. So
That
that's
is
the
the way
first.
it was. I'm sorry, that's the way it was. Everybody
Oh.
have their ticket in a sleeve and their IDs attached. The pathfinders have theirs in their hand. So hopefully when somebody walked on the line, all they have to do is check and scan. But that is not what we're experiencing. We're being pulled to the right, we're pulled to the left, and we're waiting for someone to check the bus. Then we,
Yeah.
like I said, we take a food truck, and when the food truck is coming, it's pulled to the side. It's just a little bit crazy. And when we get to the campsite, we're being rushed, get the bus out, and the word to describe it is frustrating.
Yeah, I can feel that in your voice and I hear you. And again, I apologize for that. Thank you for letting us know that and work with us. If you can let me know, we'll do all we can to go the extra mile to make sure that you have a different experience this year. Does that sound fair?
Thank you so much, Pastor. I appreciate it. And I'm not the only one, so I'm speaking for the other people who have similar experiences for the good of the group. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Let me address the second concern that you had, and then we'll go to a new person. I also heard you talk about the field, and
Yes.
they drag the field with a metal net to try to pick up or move around the manure. We do camp in horse pastures. Camp uses that property not just for us. We have talked about having a bucket and a shovel available, so if there is stuff that clubs feel like got missed or they need to move, they can come get the shovel and bucket and have that removed. Also for ants, it's a huge field and we do go through and set up, but we might miss an ant pile or something. So we do have treatment for those ant hills. And if you let us know, hey, we need this, check in with your area administrator. They can help you find the bucket and shovel. They can help you find the ant poison. So please let us know those things and they'll do their best to mobilize that in real time. We are camping, right? And there are ticks, there are ants, there are bugs, there are things, and it is a horse pasture. So I wish that we had a campground where that's all that we did and camped and there were no horses there. So while we do our best, if those things get there, work with us, let us know, and we'll work with you to help get what you need to move that stuff out, or maybe your area administrator can help you with that also. But I did hear those two concerns, wanted to address that. All right.
Thank you.
Pero es me, Gustavo.
Yes, Gustavo, your turn. Go ahead.
Okay, you say early the one car for the campsite.
I did.
Okay, yeah. This year, we having a cabin.
Nice.
Are we allowed to park a car next to the cabin or in the
Yeah.
area?
I've got some good news for you. The
Okay.
answer is yes.
All right.
And I've got some more good news for you. And this is where I wanted to hit the new topic. So let me come back to that and I'll give you more details. Let me get the
Okay.
hand first, and then we'll clear that, and then we'll come back to parking because I want to make sure everybody hears that as an introduction. We'll go over it in more detail next time on May 12th. All right.
Okay,
Is
perfect.
this Daira?
Yes, hi, Pastor.
Hi.
Just asking about check-in, if there, I know in the past there has been Saturday morning check-in. Is that going to be available this year?
Yes, we will have Saturday morning check-in, and we'll go through all the check-in details in more detail
Okay.
at our May 12 meeting. But yes, and so what we're asking is if you know people are coming, make sure they're registered, right? Make sure they're done. So all they have to do
Yes,
is scan a ticket,
absolutely.
because
Yep.
that changes the personnel that we need at the gate if it's just scanning a ticket. If it's somebody who has to register and do all that, that's a whole different scenario. Okay?
No, great. They'll be
All right.
registered. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. All right. I see a hand from All Nations. We'll take that, and then we'll go over to our new topic.
Pastor Pedro, I totally forgot to ask this question. Are we going to have kids size in the t-shirts?
We will.
Okay, thank you.
And that's available in YMMS even now. So you can go do that tonight, and then it's all
Okay,
taken care of.
thanks
Yes.
much.
You're welcome. All right. So let me share with you this parking thing. If you've been coming to Red Zone, you've seen we've tried different things. We're trying something again different because we don't feel like we've got it just right yet. And that's part of our commitment to you, right? We want to make sure we get things as good as possible so you have a great experience. And if you don't, please let us know. Because if we don't know about it, then how do we know how to improve it to make it better for you? So some of that's come up tonight. Some experiences that weren't good, you've shared them. Thank you for that. We do need to hear that. And I love what one of my friends says. He runs a business, and he says, if you ever see us do something dumb, please just know that we didn't do it on purpose, right? Like, we don't try to do dumb stuff on purpose, but sometimes we do stuff and you might not understand it, or it might not come across the right way, or we just miss something. But please trust us that we don't try to do dumb stuff on purpose, right? So one of the things we're trying to improve is the parking side. So here's the big news. We talked about each club will have one vehicle that gets to park at the campsite. That vehicle, once it goes in, shouldn't come back out until Sunday, 9 o'clock. Vehicle goes in, parks at the campground, doesn't come out. And that vehicle should have a permit, a parking permit that says this vehicle is the one vehicle. Other clubs will be coming and have purchased housing, like Gustavo just talked to us about. For everybody who's purchased housing, they'll be allowed 2 vehicles for that one housing unit. So if it's a Woodland Lodge, 1 room, you get 2 parking passes for clubs that have a building and want to park by the building. If it's a Spring Villa, 2 parking permits. If it's a Woodland Lodge, if it's a mini lodge, wherever it is, each club that purchased housing will get 2 building permits, because that says we got a building, we need permits, and we're going to go in. Now, that's a parking permit. Again, that parking permit, thank you, it's 9:30. It's 9:30 and with limited roads. I said 9. I was wondering, is it 9:30? Thank you, Eartha. So glad you're catching that detail. So the vehicle that parks at the campsite, the vehicle that parks at the building that you purchased, those are parking permits. Those give you permission to park for the weekend. Starting at 9:30, you can come out. Limited roads for in and out, so you'll have to watch for that. Again, we'll hit that in more detail next. But those are your parking permits, things that allow you to park. 1 per campsite, 2 if per building, if you did purchase housing from Kalakwa. Now, some of you are thinking, well, wait a minute. How do the rest of the cars get in? And that's where we just want to remind you, each club will get 2 camp access passes. Notice this isn't a parking permit. It's a camp access pass. Each club by default gets 2. So if you have an adventure club, they get 2. If you have a Pathfinder club, they get 2. Parking is the permits for buildings and campsite. This is a camp access pass. It's not a parking permit. How do you get this? How do you get any of these parking passes? This is where it's new. We're going back into YMMS. And I've asked Jackie to pull that up just so you see it. The parking permit for the building, the parking permit for the campsite, and the camp access pass for you to go in, unload, and come out, all of those passes and permits will be signed up for, registered for, I want to say purchased, but it's free on YMMS. So we just want to make sure everybody starts to get that and wrap their head around that. If you're doing it in YMMS, who can tell me what you're going to need? Somebody help me, please. If it's in YMMS and you're registering for it, for you to get to camp, driving through the drive-through check-in, and you want to exchange something for an actual parking permit for a building or campsite or a camp access pass to go in and unload and come out, what would you need to have ready to show us at check-in? Somebody help me.
Your
Help me,
ID.
please. ID is good. Somebody else?
Ticket.
I
The
see it. I see
YMMS
it.
ticket.
I
The
see it.
ticket.
Somebody did it in the chat.
The ticket.
A
Yeah.
ticket. Yes, a ticket. So all you have to do is this. You as director, you as secretary, manage this with your club. You know who's going to park at the campsite. They get the campsite parking permit. You sign up for it in YMMS. You send it to them digitally. You print it out, give it to them at church. You know who you said is staying in that building. You get 2 cars for that one building, 1 for the campsite, 2 for the building. Send it to them. Say, here's your parking permit for the building. So when they get there, they're checking in with their YMMS ticket for themselves. Then they're checking in with their parking permit or camp access pass. With the camp access pass, you decide who's getting there first, right? And you can send it digitally and say, whoever gets there first, show this ticket, they'll scan it, and then you'll get the camp access pass. Now, the way that the camp access pass works efficiently is whoever goes in has to come out, because coming out is the way you exchange it with somebody else from your club. So that's the camp access pass. So we've had where we're looking at lists, trying to find who said this, who that. We've changed that. The new thing this year for the parking permits and camp access pass, all's going to happen through YMMS. So directors, secretaries, work with your club. The driver of the vehicle staying at the campsite, register them for the campsite parking permit. Send it to them in YMMS or print it out. The people staying at the building, same thing. Register in YMMS for the building. You have to have purchased a building for the weekend, and we know that list, so we'll double check it. But you have to have purchased a building. Now you'll have 2 cars that can go in and park. All of those vehicles are parking permits. They go in, they park, they wait until 9:30 for limited roads as we start to come out on Sunday. The camp access pass also, as club directors and secretaries, you go into YMMS, you click on that, you purchase 2 because that's your quantity that you get those, and now you say, this person's going at 2:00. They'll be the first one there, so I'm going to send them one of those camp access passes. But my next team's not going to arrive until 3, so I'll send them the next one. That's what we're looking at. Now, some of you might be saying, but wait a minute. We've got 30 people, 50 people, 100 people coming. Do we get more than 2? Anybody want to say what the answer is?
No.
The answer is yes.
Yeah.
As you bring more people, we'll give you more access passes, not parking passes, access passes to get in, unload, and come out. Because we know the volume is different, right? So we're trying to work with you. All those details will be posted online by May 7. That's this Thursday. So you have time to look at it, read it, process it. We'll go over that again May 12 when we do our last Red Zone meeting to make sure everybody understands and has time to answer their questions, ask their questions, and get answers. So that's the big news. Parking permits for campsite and building will be available in YMMS. You have to purchase them. They're free. Camp access passes are also available for free in YMMS, but you have to purchase it. And then you decide who gets those. They'll have the ticket either on their phone or printed. We'll scan it, give them the actual physical pass, and then they'll be on their way to go do their thing. So we're hoping that significantly improves how we handle the whole getting parking access and getting access to go unload. All right, Jackie, were you able to get all the questions? So I've seen questions popping up as I was talking. And Jackie, were you able to log into YMMS to show that real quick?
Yeah, I'm already here, and we have a couple of questions that I was not able to answer, but
Okay.
I seen that Eartha answered some of them, and they're asking about like parking for Sunday.
Yeah, so we have a long-term parking, and that long-term parking, you can come in and out all weekend. And so that's your options, right? There will be a drop-off zone and there will be a camp access pass zone. So all that will happen in the short-term parking area, which is closer, and that will be there. Did I answer those questions? Oh, Luisa, you already got your pins? That's crazy. Did they send them to you? Some honor
Yes,
thing?
yes. And they were fast and it was easy.
Oh, wow. Very good. What do you think of them?
They're nice.
Yeah, I think
They're
they're
bigger than
good.
I thought they would be, but they're nice.
Okay.
Hmm.
Very cool.
Yep.
Put the person for information. Yeah, we need to have an information person. Vehicles stay parked on Sunday when you come. Sounds like a great improvement. Yeah, we pray that it will alleviate the bottlenecks also. Yeah, so again, if you're staying at any building, whatever it is, cabin, rustic cabin, Woodland Lodge, Mini Lodge, any building, you get 2 parking permits. So that's there. A hotel room is the Woodland Lodge, so that's 2 rooms. Parking on Sunday, come and go, is in the long-term parking. If you're staying off-site, you'll park in the long-term parking. If you haven't gotten into YMMS, that's through your club. So I think this is Michael from Miami Temple. You need to check with Jimmy, and Jimmy will get you access to that. Not access to it, but he'll help you to know if you get parking or not, or how that's going to work. All right, pin finders, we like that. Good. Specifically, parent with the adventure children. What was that question? The parents with the adventure child? I don't think I know what that question was. I didn't follow all that. Okay. So Jackie, talk to us about the building stuff. How did you get here? What is this all?
Somebody needs to mute. There's a lot of feedback.
Okay.
I don't know who it is, but if you are on, thank you for wanting to share with us and being with us. And if you could mute, that would help us not hear your feedback locally. Thank you. Okay, let's finish this. This is the parking. So Jackie, walk us through the parking permits and the camp access passes.
All right. So if you go to your YMMS account, you will go to your dashboard, back onto registrations, register. And then you will see that we have red zone building parking and red zone campsite parking. Let's say you have a building parking, you will click on records. Then after that, I will go to register members. And then depending who I want to give the pass, let's say I want to give it to Manuel Garcia, I will click on him, pay, even though it's free, we will have to click that and generate payment. And then I have this here, the receipt, but you're not going to print the receipt. You will go just as an event, you will go to payments, back to your dashboard, payments, and then parking. Let's see, we click on payments. Oh, never mind. It's just like registration. So we will go back to register. I'm sorry about that. And you see that I have one here that I got for the building. So I will go on records and then ticket.
And that's how you get the ticket. You could share the ticket like you do with any other YMMS ticket. Thank you for walking through that. Jackie, we did have a comment in the chat pop up, said that they don't see it on their YMMS. They're in there now.
So we don't have it open as right now. We're
Okay,
just showing how to do it, but they will
gotcha.
have it after we close later
Thank you.
line.
Yeah, so just so you know, we haven't opened up the parking permit or parking passes. So if you look for it now, you won't see it. I just wanted to introduce the idea to you. We want to close registration first so we don't have people getting parking passes and parking permits that aren't registered. So we want to make sure that that part is not confusing. So what I just explained to you about parking is only a commercial for when we talk next time, Monday, May 12. I'm sorry, it's not Monday, May 12. It's May 13, and I'm glad I just said that. So when we scheduled this, we scheduled it for Sunday, but who knows what's happening on May 12 Sunday? Somebody? It's a special day for some very
Mother's Day.
May
Mother's
10th?
Day.
So when you say that's gonna be May 13th is a Wednesday, I thought we were gonna do May 11th, Monday, May 11th.
right. So I'm all kinds of confused. Sunday, May 10 is when we had originally set it, but we're switching it to Monday, May 11. And that's to avoid Mother's Day. We'll send that out. I just want this group to know the next Red Zone meeting will be May 11 on Monday, not on Tuesday. So I just want to make sure we have that. And again, what we just talked about with parking. Yes, thank you, Eartha. What we just talked about with parking, that's just again to get you a heads up so you have time to process that. You have time to start thinking about who's the vehicle, who's going to drive the vehicle that's going to park in our campsite, who's going to be driving vehicles that are going to actually park at the lodging that we purchased. And if you didn't, then you don't get that. But if you do, then you have 2 cars that can park there. Those aren't in and out. That's drive in, unload, park your car, enjoy the weekend. Then you have a camp access pass. This is to go in to unload at the campsite or go in and unload at the building that you have. Once you've done that, come out, exchange that with someone from your club because they can't come in till you go out. So that's the access pass. So that's how that's going to work. And you can, bye, Michael. Thank you for coming on. So that's something that we just wanted you to have a heads up on. We'll give you more details next time. And it's on Monday, not on Mother's Day. So just want to make sure you have it. So you can't see that yet for parking stuff. Don't let that stress you. We just want to get that going. Early Bird is not open anymore. And let me just help everybody understand this. If you're staying off-site, you don't need a parking pass. You don't need parking permit. You come in, show your wristband, and go to long-term parking. That's it. The pass is only to go into the campsite and unload or go into the lodge and unload, whatever building you got. If all you're doing is coming to Red Zone from offsite, if you're an adventure family, adventure parents coming, and you're only coming on Sunday, you'll get your wristband, you'll come in, park in long-term parking, and then walk in. So I don't want anybody to be confused or concerned about that. And yes, if you want to exchange, let's just be clear. The parking permit is not exchanged. It's only for that vehicle. The parking permit is for the vehicle that's going to park at the campsite. It gives you permission to park. The permit for the building gives you permission to park. That's it. Don't exchange that pass. The camp access pass is the only one that you exchange. And that is going to be exchanged in short-term parking area, which is the field across from the long-term parking. That's the one that's closest to camp. And that's where those passes are exchanged. Once you give the pass to somebody else, they will drive and go park in long-term parking, and you'll be able to enter camp with that pass. No vehicle will be allowed to enter camp without the building permit, the campsite permit, or the camp access pass. Those are the only 3 documents that the vehicle has to have to get in. One of those, they get in. None of those, they're told to go park in long-term parking. All right? All right. Yeah, decide ahead of time. And that way there'll be no need for an exchange. Yes, that's one way to handle it. Very good. All right. So that's it for tonight. We are up to our conclusion. So I'm going to open it up. If anyone has a question that they want to have asked, please let me know. Oh, good. Someone said there is an option to ship the pins if you want to ship your pins for Red Zone. All right. I thought it was all pick up on site. So that's cool. All right, Amy, I see a hand. And let's go to Amy. Yes? No?
Yes,
Hey.
good night. Sorry. So just to confirm, if each of our club has a villa, we're allowed 2 cars per villa, correct?
Correct. You would be allowed 2 building parking permits per building purchased.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yes, there will be handicap parking. Thank you for that. Jose, your hand is up. You're next.
Yes, Pastor, Pampano Beach.
Hey.
I have two quick questions. First
Yeah.
is, I don't have a PayPal account. It was deactivated. How will I pay? That's my first question. Second question is, I have some pathfinders that have pending in the background check, but in checking, they are already cleared, but it's still pending in YMMS. How will it be? What do you call it? Over.
Yeah, thank you, Jose.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask Jackie to put her email in the chat. Please grab her email from the chat and look at that. Here's what happens for the first part of PayPal. If you don't have a PayPal account, don't want to create one, can't create one, there are two options. One, somebody who's either the director or secretary, whatever role you're in and whatever role the other person's in, that person can create the PayPal account. That's one option. In YMMS, you need to have a PayPal account to check out. The second option is you can copy a code, and that code you can send to your treasurer for the church can purchase it and then bill it to you. So that's another way to do it. That's something, if you need help with that, you can email Jackie and she'll help you with that. The second issue of YMMS not clearing some people who say they're cleared in Sterling, those two systems have to talk. For some reason, they haven't talked. Jackie can look into that. And if you email Jackie, the club name, the people who are still pending, the issues that you have to say they're cleared in Sterling, she can look into that and email you, or you can phone her tomorrow and you can work with her through that. So that's how those two issues would be handled. Does that help you?
Yes, thank you, Pastor.
You're welcome. All right, let's go to Rosalind.
Good evening again. The clubs that like we purchase housing on site and hotels, where can we do we get information about the housing guidelines from, I checked on the website, but do we get them from you guys, or is that ran through the same department that we purchase housing through? The question that surrounds about meal preparations, if you have accommodations that don't come with the kitchen facility. Like, do we have to buy meal tickets, or do we make sandwiches, or can we cook there in the backyard, or how does that work?
Yeah, thank you for your question. So depending on the lodging has different capabilities. The Spring Villa has a kitchen. The Chalet has a kitchen. Those two places have kitchens. The other buildings, the Woodland Lodge has a microwave and a refrigerator, small. Both of them are small. The Mini Lodge has no cooking, no refrigeration, nothing. The rustic cabins also have no kitchen supplies at all, no kitchen, no refrigerator, no stove, none of that. So depending on where you are, yes, that's the next question. What do I do for meal prep? If you're at a building that doesn't have any kitchen facility, that's where you would need to say, we have a campsite and we'll have a tent at the campsite and we'll cook at the campsite and we'll eat at the campsite. And that's where everything will happen for food prep. Or you'd say, we will only use the cafeteria. We won't worry about food prep. We'll just get meal tickets and all the kids will go to the caf to eat. Those are some of the options that you would have.
Thank you.
Yep. And if you have more questions, feel free to reach out to us through an email or a phone call. Because I know that sometimes it's hard to ask something or you want to ask something more in private. Let's go to another hand up from All Nations. All Nations is on the
Yes,
clock.
Pastor Pedro. I've come across something that I need help with.
Okay.
I have a parent, so when the kids are adventure age, they stay with the parents. I have a parent who is staying off site, but the child is now Pathfinder age. Doesn't that child stay with the group of Pathfinders? I just want to be clear, because that's what I know growing up. but
Yeah.
I am not sure.
Yeah. So thank you for the question. If I understand it right, how do adventures camp and how do pathfinders camp? Adventures have one option at this point, and that is they must stay with their parents. Adventures can't stay in tents by themselves. Adventures can't stay in a tent with somebody that's not their parent. That's the adventure side. Pathfinders can stay in tents by themselves, are supposed to stay in tents by themselves, should not have adults staying in tents with them unless they're their own biological children. So those are the guidelines. If it's a family who has an adventure age kid and the adventure age kid's going to stay with the family off site, that's fine. If the pathfinder of the same family is going to stay with the club, then they'll stay with other pathfinders in a tent, and that's fine. There's no issue as long as the parents and the club directors are talking about all that. That's a non-issue. Does that help?
It helps Pastor Pedro, but the parent is off site.
Okay.
And I was trying to explain to her the Pathfinders stay with the Pathfinders.
Wow.
And for some reason, she could not understand what I was saying.
Yeah, so if the family chooses to have their Pathfinder and Adventure children stay with them off-site, that's the parents' prerogative. Like they can do that. If they want their Pathfinder to stay at the campsite with other Pathfinders, most of the Pathfinders that come won't be with their parents. They'll be with the club staff, and the club staff's responsible for the Pathfinders. So that's up to you to make sure that you decide with the families what best serves them within the rules of what we're allowing. Yeah?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. I see a question from Miss Perez.
Hello, everyone. I have a question regarding generators for the campsite. This is our first time going with the new
Yeah.
directors and staff. So we want to know, what are the rules for generators at the campsite?
Thank you. Generators are allowed in campsites. They may be left on or operate from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. Those are the hours of daylight. After 10 p.m., we say for quiet time, all generators should be powered down. So you would need to have a plan for after 10 p.m. how to keep your lights or have some kind of visibility around the campsite. But that's the rule. We do also ask that you're very cautious with the placement of the generator. Generators have exhaust fumes, which if they're by tents, can push CO2 into tents and create situations where kids sleeping in tents could die from carbon monoxide poisoning. So we do ask that clubs be very careful with where their generator exhaust is pointing and that they keep the generator within their assigned camping area. And also, as good neighbors, watch where they place their generator in relation to the clubs that are their neighbors and not just think about their tents, but also the tents and exhaust from the neighboring club. Yeah?
Sounds perfect. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. All right, we did it. Thank you for being on tonight. I'm going to wrap us up, and if you need to go, you can. I'll stay online for a little bit more to see if there are any other questions. We have these Zoom meetings because we want you to feel prepped and ready to go. We put our emails up there. The website's up there. A lot of your questions can get answered through the website, and we know that sometimes it's good just to be able to connect. So please do keep that in mind. This is a big week because on Monday, regular registration will close. So please, whatever you need to do to get that done, please don't wait till the last minute. We don't want you struggling on Sunday. We don't have our office open on Sunday. We want you to have a smooth process. Call us, email us, text us, let us know what we need, and then we'll be able to make it work. All right? Very good. So thank you again for being on. I did just see something coming up here in the chat.
Yeah, we have a question about cooking outside, maybe having like a tent outside of the rustic cabin. Is that allowed?
At this point, no. That's why I said it would be at the campsite. You'd need to set up a tent and cook at the campsite. Okay?
Pastor,
Yes.
will you be kind enough to explain traveling arrangements if the Pathfinder director is taking a child in his or her car and the child is not his child or her child, what is the traveling arrangements that can be made there in terms of
Okay.
who can take who in their car?
Yeah. So every club, thank you for the question, Lurlet. Every club should have a permission form from the parents that allows them to go to the event, that has insurance information for that child if something happens that's current, right? Like if you're one of those clubs that did that back in August, make sure that all that information is still current with the parents, their contact numbers, their health insurance. If any of that's changed, have them update the form. That form needs to travel in the vehicle that the child is in on their way to Red Zone. We ask that adults never are alone with kids. So that means if you're an adult and you're with Pathfinders that are not your biological kids, you should have another adult in that vehicle. That is best practice, so that there's always two adults and never one adult alone with kids. That protects the kids, it protects you as an adult. Another requirement is that you should have the proper insurance. Florida Conference requires that any adult driving Pathfinders or Adventures, usually more Pathfinders because of the age, that they would have the proper insurance, which is, I believe, $300,000 of coverage. And that's something that if you have not done with your insurance company and you are going to be transporting kids, you need to do that. If you are one of those clubs that will be renting a vehicle, the rental has to have a $1 million policy on it. Most car rental companies will not offer you a $1 million policy. And if they did, you probably wouldn't want to pay that price. However, the conference has a way for you to do that. This is the stuff that's in your club manual. The details on this: having the insurance at $300,000 for your vehicle. If you rent a vehicle, having the $1 million policy. There's a form in the manual that will give you a way to fill out the form, send it into our risk management department, and they will get you a bill for the cost of the insurance for the rental vehicle with the required insurance that is required from the Florida Conference. So those are some of the things that you should have. Sometimes this is what happens. Clubs leave in a caravan. This car has 5 kids assigned to it. This car has 3 kids assigned to it. This car has 2 kids assigned to it. You go to the rest area. Now the kids want to switch cars around. You've got 2 options. One is every kid goes back into the same car they were originally in because that's where their medical form is, that's where their consent to treat form is. Or the club has one binder that has every kid's medical consent to treat form for everyone attending in every binder in every vehicle. So if kids want to swap, the kid's information is always in that vehicle, whichever vehicle that kid is transporting in. Another thing that you need to watch for in terms of transportation of Pathfinders or Adventurers is 15 passenger vans are not allowed. 15 passenger vans cannot be rented. 15 passenger vans should not be driven with kids in them. 12 passenger vans, some of them fit the requirements. Again, these are all things that appear in the club manuals that are online. You can look through that, and maybe we'll look for the links. We should do that and put those things easy on our website so you can have them. All the requirements for vehicles, those are some of the things. I don't know if that addresses all that you were thinking, Lurlet, or if there was something you'd like to add.
You explained it, Pastor. Thank you.
Okay, very good. All right. Very good. And Jackie did add her email address in there. If there are issues that you hit this week as you finalize your registration, please feel free to email her. If you're an adventure club, you can email Karen as well, and we'll do our best to stay on top of this. So I'm looking forward to that. Jackie, could you check real quick to see how many are registered? I haven't seen the latest numbers, and share that number with us. All right. As we wrap up tonight, thank you for being here. We will close the call here in a moment. But we will stay on a little bit. Thank you for being a part of Red Zone 2026. We're looking forward to you being there with your club, with your Pathfinders, with your adventurers, with the adventurers and their families. And we do Red Zone because we want you to have a great experience, right? We do Red Zone because we want you to have a way to end the club year, to have a spiritual weekend where families and clubs can come together, to be together in joint worships, to have activities, to see and celebrate all the things that Pathfinders have done and Adventures have done over the course of the year, and to end together. And we're so blessed to have a place like Camp Kalakwa to be able to do that. So please continue to pray for us. We'll continue to pray for you as you prepare. And remember, Monday, May 1 p.m., that is the deadline to get the best rate to get into Red Zone. All right? Very good. So with that, any final question? One last question before we close? Jackie, if you don't get it, that's okay.
Pastor, I was wondering if I could get a spot and have the Pathfinder of a spot and the Adventure of a spot and have it back to back.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure what you're asking.
Okay, so we have the Adventure Club coming and we have the Pathfinder Club coming. Last year, the spot we got was too small for both clubs together. Again, we have 120, 130. So what I'm asking is if we can get two spots, one for the Adventures and one for the Pathfinders. This is First Church of West Palm Beach.
Yes.
And then have it back to back or side to side so that we can drop our kitchen tent right between and the Adventure on one side and the Pathfinder on one side.
Got you. So yeah, as we set up our campsites, we will do that with sensitivity towards if West Palm has Pathfinders and Adventures, we'll create two spaces for them. I think there were some things where we tried to adapt it. So if you had to tell us you were camping versus we set up campsite for you, whether or not you told us and we just had it ready for you, we do put everybody at the same measurement. We take the numbers YMMS gives us. It's times 120 people or 120 square feet per person, and that's the space that we give you. So we'll look at that, especially for West Palm. We'll double check the numbers as we get ready for that. And if that's something that is an issue again, let me know, because we work hard to not have issues that way. Obviously, something happened, and I'm sorry that happened, but let us know in real time if you can so that we know to keep those things on our radar. But we will plan to put clubs, Adventures and Pathfinders from the same church right next to each other for Red Zone in the field for camping. Yeah.
Thanks for the meeting.
All right. So Jackie gave us a report. We've got 2,800 that registered in the early bird, and we've got 276 that have registered in this second registration. So that's where we are. Right now, we're about 3,100 ready to come to Red Zone, and we thank you for all that support and all that motion to get us ready. That's great. All right, very good. Let me thank you, Luisa. Clubs should, if you want to sell food to another club, you should work that out in advance. And that's, I guess there's a food vending, and then if you want to work out to eat meals with another club, that's up to you and that club. That's all done privately between the two clubs. So, all right, let me pray for us, and then Jackie?
We have a question to give guidance if they're staying on a hotel without the parents. How are they supposed to be doing it?
Yeah, so that's a little trickier. We definitely don't want adults sharing beds with kids, right? So if it's a queen bed or a full bed, unless that child is your child, right, you shouldn't be in that bed. And the same rule would apply. We would expect 2 adults would be in that room, and that anytime that there's an adult in the room, both adults are in the room. Like, those are some of the room expectations that just help protect kids and help protect the adults. Ideally, we would have a way to have kids and adults that were in separate sleeping quarters. I know Camp Kalakwa housing isn't always set up that way, so that does create some trickiness. I think the mini lodge is probably the best case scenario, because you can have a room for adults, a room for kids, a room for boys, a room for girls. You have 4 different rooms, and then adults aren't sharing the same space, and everybody keeps their door open. Obviously, if they would need to go to the bathroom to do that, or they would need to ask their roommates to step out and they could change and then come back in. So please do also be cautious and use some of the same principles that we talked about for lodging at camp. All right. Thank you, Jackie. All right. I'm going to close the meeting, and then I'll pray with us. We will post the recording online so you can see that.